afternoon. We call the meeting of the Liberty County Board of Commissioners to order. Mr. Mosley, has the meeting been properly advertised?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. And let's stand for our, I'll give him a break today, stand for our invocation and our pledge. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for allowing us to come together now, that we might lend ourselves to the business of Liberty County, Georgia, and do us pleasing in your sight. We ask you to give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Help us, God, to make decisions that are right for everybody, not just somebody, but for everybody. Bless these commissions who give it their time and talent. Bless this staff. Bless those persons who are in this room, name by name. We ask you to bless mankind everywhere. And then, oh God, we ask you to give us a home somewhere in their kingdom, where every day will be Sunday, Sabbath shall have no end. This will have, ask in Jesus Christ's name we do pray. Amen.
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 Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's see. Let me go into the way of announcements. I see some of my library friends here. We had a meeting this week, just update, with Ms. Lola and staff. And so if you have any questions, please see Ms. Lola and her staff. They should be able to answer any questions that you may have as to where things are with the library. Okay. Also, Commissioner Frazier, you raised a question about whether we vote in public hearing or not. Attorney Davis said we have the option of either or. He said either or is what he gave me. So, but I have no issue with doing it either way. But just remind me if you will. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Now to departmental reports, Ms. Samantha.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I'm here to report on the county's April 2025 financial statements. As of the end of April, we have collected approximately 96% of our budgeted revenues and have spent approximately 78% of our total budgeted expenditures.
We're looking for our binder.
I know. It was right in front of our face.
It was small.
There's a little
It's fine.
printing mishap in
That's
finance
quite all
this
right.
afternoon.
It's quite
but-
all right.
So currently, we're showing revenues over expenditures for the year, 11.3 million. This is right on track for the fiscal year, as we have collected most of our revenues for the year and still have 2 months to report for expenditures. But as of the end of April, we currently have 6.5 months in our operating expenses in our unreserved fund balance. This is up from last April, which we reported 5.6 months. Looking at the general fund departmental budget to actual, there are a number of departments showing ahead of schedule still, but there are many more actually showing favorably. But there are not currently any departments that are causing finance any concern for this point in the fiscal year. And I believe we have talked in detail about all of these overage, and many are the result of the expenditures happening at the beginning of the fiscal year, which causes those departments to show over budget for the whole remainder of the year. But continuing on to solid waste. The solid waste department is currently showing a year-to-date net loss of $188,000. This number does include a non-cash item for depreciation of $397,000. Without this line item, we're collecting revenues to cover our out-of-pocket cash expenditures for the year. Additionally, there are no departments in solid waste that are currently exceeding their budgets. The same almost can be said for our special revenue funds on the next page. The only one showing over budget for April is the Victim Witness District Attorney's Office. And I believe this was reported a few months ago, and it's just as we get further into the fiscal year, this unfavorable variance is coming down. But for sales tax reports, for SPLOST 7, we collected $1.19 million for the month of April. We have collected a total of $27.2 million in sales tax 7 revenues. and we have spent $16.7 million in our SPOS projects. For T-SPOS, we had another good month. It was 1.12 collected for the month of April. And we have collected $53.1 million in total T-SPOS proceeds since this tax began, and expended $24.8 on our transportation and road projects. And this concludes my report from April, unless you have any specific questions.
Please remind me that you and Mr. Mosley, I know you have to publish your sales tax spending.
Yes.
Is it the same required for T-SPOS, or is it just SPOS?
I know it's specifically for SPLOST, but I'm not aware of T-SPLOST.
We report them in our annual audit, but the SPOS is required for the state
And I've seen that in
and the newspaper.
the
actually.
newspaper. But someone asked me about T-SPOS, so I wasn't sure. And the reason was, they want to see a report card, which I think is good for us if we could let the public know how we've done that. But I didn't know what the, what the rules were on the reporting part of it. Even when it comes to SPOS, is that, how, do you know the regularity of that? I don't. Is that once a year, twice a year?
Annually, yes,
Patrick
sir.
may know. Oh, you just printed it? Yeah.
For the fiscal year ending June, it would be required to be published by December 31st.
Okay. Is it also on our website or in this office, so if someone want to?
Yes, sir. It's actually in our audit reports as
Okay,
well.
okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Martha,
Yes.
I want to commend you for looking after the, what money we've been putting in savings. I see we're doing pretty good on our
Interest.
interest on that.
Yes, sir.
And I know we're getting toward making a decision on the budget, but do you have an opportunity between now and maybe next week to bring, let's see what we were looking like in '23 and in '24? Let's look at these numbers compared to where we're at now.
For all of the revenues or specifically the interest earnings?
Well, I think where the sales tax would be involved at, and the other departments, whether it be in the road department, inspections department, probate district attorney, sheriff, jail, and all of that stuff. Let's just look at it and see where we're at.
Okay, yes, sir.
There's, I was talking to the chairman earlier, there's of course, and I'm one of them, you know, you're always concerned about seeing the taxes increase, and we're increasing them, but a lot of people aren't seeing anything but buildings, and I know that the chairman has noted that, you know, we do publicize what we're trying to do, but a lot of times when the sign don't show up, nobody knows what we're doing here, so. My dad drove by the new health department 3 or 4 times, and he was wondering what grocery store was going there. And he heard they was building a new one. I said, well, they are in Flemington. So,
Yeah.
it would be
Yes, sir.
good, but thanks again for everything you've done.
Just one comment on that, if I may, is with these additional buildings that the county's building, we have to staff those. So our employee count is steadily increasing as well, and that's our biggest expenditure for the year.
As well as, you know, we're still, to my point, settling into EMS and fire.
Fire.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
They're constant moving,
yeah,
constantly.
yeah. Vital
But
services, but they're not free.
Exactly.
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Samantha, I'll get with you before the end of the month. I met with the city today. There's a road project that Commissioner Walden and I are looking at. I met with a representative from the city today. And in my district, I sent a message out to some couple of the elected officials in Walthamville, and I got to catch up with Mayor Willis so that my district could be covered. But I'm looking for a project for so I can obligate my road money to Allyhurst, Walthamville, and of course my portion of Hinesville. So, but I should have that done, and I'll get with you.
Okay, yes, sir.
Send
Just
an email.
let me know the details, and I'll add it in.
By the end of the month, so I can obligate that, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair, real quick, that's what you're saying. Going back to the sales tax 7 report,
Yes.
know we've collected 27, almost, well, north of 27 million. But I know normally you'll let us know if we're where we're supposed to be, or we're falling behind, or we're above our anticipated revenue.
Oh, yes, sir. On the, what's it called, distributions to date, that far right column is what we originally budgeted in the highlighted. So for the 23-24 fiscal year, we budgeted $923,000 a month. And then the actual collected is to the right of that, showing that difference. So fast forwarding to April of '25, we've collected a total of $4.9 million above what we conservatively estimated when this began.
Okay, which is good news.
Yes.
And Mr. Chair, I know, with us being a more progressive community, I know we're looking at the SPLOST ending in March of 2029, but I'm pretty certain that, us and also the other municipalities are already currently looking at projects for the future. I don't know. I know we're in 2025, but when are we gonna start? I know it's early, but trying to figure out our anticipated revenue, and also some of these projects that are being requested. And some of the projects have been requested on previous SPLOST and they made the cut as well, so.
What we have traditionally done, correct me if I'm wrong, though, probably at 2029, so for 2 years, a year ahead of time, you sit down with your other entities and you start discussing. We will probably have some of that, maybe touch on it even at the countywide, but I know, i.e., I can tell you the city of Hinesville probably has a little list to the side.
Right.
Of what they may want, and others would do the same. In fact, we talked to one city about some roads they want to have done, so the process is already kind of started.
Right.
Not officially, but it's kind of started.
Right.
Yeah, so people don't generally wait till the very last minute to do that. But officially, a year and a half out, we sat down and, because you got to have a timeline leading up to the election, the call election, all that kind of stuff. That's several months in itself, so.
Right. I mean, I understand how we
Okay,
used to do it, but what I'm saying is, I think with this, it seemed like with this current future SPLOST 8, it's been a little bit more active talking about future projects. So I just want to, because regardless, we're just only gonna have a certain amount of funds, and I know it's kind of hard to, shake the ball and look in the future of future revenue, but I just know there's some big projects that are being requested already.
Being discussed, yeah.
Or being discussed. And I'm just looking, like, even when are we looking at, with this sales tax 7, the largest project that was on there percentage-wise was paying off the debt service of the Justice Center, which was almost 13% of the SPLOST. And I'm just kind of, if you understand what I'm saying without me saying it, I'm just want to, I don't know. I'm just hoping somebody catch a hint so I can just be a little, but you understand what I'm saying? Right. We have to figure out, from a percentage standpoint, how are we going to figure this out?
As far as the split,
Or the collective projects that we normally have, and by far the split, because you and I both know, with the population changing, we have some other friends that have been very generous to us with the splits. So
The top part, generally the countywide part, the part that touches everybody in one way or the other. Right. And of course, we try to give, opportunities for our small municipalities to get some small piece of the pie, that we might encourage their constituents, to support the SPLOST. Then, just like the very bottom part is done by by population.
Right.
Yeah, that has been the format thus far.
Right. I just don't want us to be rushed into that, because I think, with all due respect, I think this next sponsor is gonna, I don't know if a year is gonna be
Yeah.
enough time to kind of figure everything out. I would hate to be behind
No.
a lot of pressure.
All right, so point well taken.
Yes, sir.
Let me say this too, just in case someone is not aware, when we talk about SPLOST can only be used for capital projects. I don't want anybody to think we can use it for operational, only for capital. And what's the capital project, Mr. Chairman? The health department.
Right.
Good example, the EMS building is being built, those kind of things. SPLOST is used for a capital project that can be costly, that comes from that 1 cent as versus from your property taxes. Sam makes a good point. I think maybe someone else did too, Commissioner Walden. But I know with the, Mr. Moses, correct me, with the Public Works Department, we haven't added on any more personnel. A new building for them, but we haven't added on, so it's not automatically added on new personnel, that same building. And I know our building maintenance director is concerned about, his staffing, because he's already been understaffed. And then we add on new facilities, he kind of waved the red flag, wait. So we have to consider those things. But all that gets put on the plate at the time to consider. So when we go through that budgeting process, all that's a part of it. So you cannot generically say because you see new buildings, we're spending extra money. No, that's spending SPLOST dollars to build capital projects. That the voters voted on at a referendum, we spend those monies on those kind of projects.
And Mr. Chairman, to back up on this T-SPLOST that Commissioner Frazier was talking about. The T-SPLOST report through April 2025, if you look at those projects, I think I counted 6 projects, that's county projects that we've got, and the rest of them are projects in other cities.
Right.
that we're helping. I mean, I know, we always try to help if the city's got a project to help Flemington, but, county projects, I see Commissioner Stevens is the, of course, the road improvement and interstate paper, of course, we've not made a decision on that, but median and sidewalk at Bacon and Lewis Frazier, intersection Barrington Ferry, 119 in Barrington Ferry, Limerick, which is in Commissioner Blunt's district, I guess. But other than that, most all of it is in another municipality. So, I mean, it is a Liberty County sales tax, but, we've got to share.
You got to share.
And we got to also look out for ourselves, but the thing about it is, we're trying to push the sales tax to take the burden off the property owners. And that's the one thing that I want us to try to do is, if we're gonna have sales tax, then we're gonna have to lower the millage, because that's the only thing that's helping people out here.
Right.
So, and it's gonna be a tough thing, but I believe we can do it.
Well, that's what the floss is designed to do.
Absolutely, yes.
That's what it was designed to do, but it never,
No, floss.
No, floss will be the first
Floss
time.
is-
We'll vote on that in
First time with
November.
yeah,
It's designed to
yeah.
totally goes against property taxes.
That may not, that's it.
Well, let me be very blunt. If the citizens should vote down FLOST, then they are giving up tax relief. They are giving up tax relief. 'Cause that's all it can be used for, to offset your property taxes. Can I be any clearer than that? Say it.
Right.
If the citizens should find reason to vote down, it's called FLOST, FLOST, then you are giving up property tax relief, because that's the only thing that can be used for.
What was the vote the last time? How much?
We haven't had FLOST,
No,
this
this
is
is the
new.
first time.
But what was our sales tax, the one we lost?
Oh, I don't remember. It's been
wasn't
a
very
little
many.
while now, I don't remember.
Giller.
Yeah, I don't remember.
The last one we.
But
that was voted down?
but
November.
sales tax now and FLOST are different. SPLOST and FLOST are different. SPLOST for your capital project, FLOST for property tax relief.
Relief.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
My projection is it's going to, if it does pass, decrease our millage rate for the county portion.
Yeah.
I'll just ballpark a third, and that's conservative. It brings in a lot of revenue that, to offset for all this transient people who pass through our county.
All right, thank you, good discussion. Commissioner Blunt says it all the time, we have to go out and do what to the people?
Educate,
Educate. That's been his speech.
informal, educate.
Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Long.
Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well.
Friend, I just want to ask one question before you get started. What are you going to do about all this water?
We're gonna let it drain. We got a lot of water, don't we?
It drains.
It's doing pretty good, though.
It drains. Yes.
And
We're
then
gonna let it drain.
utilities.
So, on my first on my list is Sunshine Lake Road. I'll move that to the last part of the presentation since it's second on the agenda. Bacontown Road, which is, Platinum Paving is doing that contract. We have the contracts out to them for execution, and we should be getting those back, next week. That way we can get those to you guys, and we have a pre-construction conference and get that project going. The Islands Highway Box Culvert, they're pretty much done. Keith rode by there today. Most of the grass is up. Got a few rills they need to kind of come back and do, but for the most part, it's good.
Trent, what about the tree? Is it still
It's
living?
alive.
It's alive?
I saw it the other day, I
I
looked
think
at
it's
it
gonna
good.
live.
I
I
looked-
think it's gonna live, but I'm watching it
I
just
looked
to
at it
see.
good the other day, it looks good.
Yeah, I just, it's thirsty on one side. All right, so, and, that being said, that was from the telephone company and not from the contractor.
Okay.
So, Well Cemetery Road, they got the last of the asphalt down on there today, so that's done. Kind of probably need to go over some of that with you, at the meeting sometime later in the week.
Okay.
Kind of where we are on that job. The Liberty Independent Tree Pickleball Court is pretty much complete, but we're missing lights. So the light poles are still not here. So we've been reaching out to Georgia Power to see what's going on with the light poles, and
And
we don't have an answer.
And we don't know anyone that works
Oh,
or
yeah,
used to
we're-
work for Georgia Power?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
But it's coming from the lighting group.
but yeah, different division,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we do.
But we've tried that too.
Yeah, you know, I wish I could make them twinkle my nose in the pier, and I think the people that we're contacting wish they could make their nose twinkle and the pole show up too. So I think it's further up the chain than just our local guys that we're working with. So he's pretty much done except for that. We may look at cleaning up a little bit of sand that kind of washing on there, and we may try to go back and add some sod. Raymond and I talked about it a little bit the other day, because the dirt and the grass that's growing, still with all these rains, it's washing a little layer of sand across the top of the pickleball court. And the only way to really kind of stop that is if I get some sod out there and get the grass growing where it won't keep washing on top of us. So we're trying to look at a price on that, and we're gonna meet with the contractor and the striping guy and just see what we can do to try to eliminate that. The roadway striping project, we opened bids on it today. Our second round went for $140,000, so I'll be bringing that to you at your regular meeting in July. So I thought that was a good price, and I think that's right on the amount of money that I had left to be able to use it. So I think we'll be in good shape with that. Water system west of the railroad. That contractor's moving along really well. Do want to tell you that we ran into some headstones day before yesterday.
Really?
We did, right in the line of where our pipe's going. So they found it ahead of time. So we think they're just headstones from a guy that used to sell headstones in the area and had them as displays.
Right.
Because the names on them have wrong dates, and if you search for the people, those same exact headstones are in different parts of the state with correct dates on it.
Right, yeah.
So,
Who had that?
we don't think there's anybody there. The city was sending the ground penetrating radar over there yesterday and today. Don't know the results of that yet. We don't think there's anything, but we're trying to be overly cautious, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around the backside of them, stay inside our easement and try not to disturb them, but we think they're just left over from the man that sold headstones in that area years ago.
Is that the Ron property?
I don't know the name, I'm sorry, Eddie.
Ron, I think.
No, it's not Ronnie Ron's,
I know, but I think it's some of his people that had that.
really.
There was a container back there too, also, a small
Yeah,
container.
somewhere back up in there, yes, sir. This one's down closer to Peter Martin's place, the old.
Yeah, I know right where it's at. I remember seeing the headstones up there, and I mean, they sit there for ever and ever. Them
Yeah, they're
things
knocked
heavy,
down
too.
now.
Forgot about that.
So they've been knocked over before we got there. But anyhow, I just kind of want you guys to know that. Yes, sir. So, Flemington Village, the traffic light, the contractor's back out there today working. They were digging out all the stone and putting stone back in and getting that ready to put down asphalt. I think they're gonna try to put down the asphalt on part of that this Friday or first part of next week. The contractor told me that as soon as that's done, he's gonna come down and set the lights. And then we'll go into the flashing mode, and there's a whole procedure that we go through at the Department of Transportation to make those active. And it takes a couple months to go through that. So hopefully we'll be getting that started, and hopefully we'll have those up and operational before school starts. So definitely want to get it up and operational before Publix is ready. So, because.
So the light that was installed at Lowe's and Walmart didn't have to follow the same format as this light?
I don't know if the same format is what they did back then is what we do now.
Yeah, 'cause that one didn't take
Didn't
months
take that
to.
long.
No.
No, and this one, we may be able to make it go faster. It's all kind of dependent on what Andy Westbury, the guy, lets us do. So I'm budgeting for a couple of months. I'm hoping I can get through much faster. So,
I know it's not necessarily your baby, but try to walk me through school traffic and the traffic light.
so we'll still have our guards the same way. The lights will operate, just the same as you would normally expect.
Okay.
The guards will let cars come and go at Wallace Martin, just as they do now.
Okay.
There will be more breaks, because, you know, they'll, sometimes the light will help them, and sometimes it will hurt them. But, it'll be pretty much the same way, almost the same distance as the one they've got at the Dairy Queen. So, you know, they're affected by red lights on either side. So we'll have to kind of contend with it, but it'll just be a little bit of a learning
Okay, it's
curve.
about the same distance? Okay. Just
Yes,
seems closer.
And I know the city is really looking at trying to figure out a way to align Wallace Martin with that red light, which would be the best, but I think that's still some time away.
That's, yeah.
Well, Trent, I know we helped fund that light, all the commissioners did, but is that not being engineered at all by I mean, did you take over that project? I thought
Yeah,
it
so,
was.
so EMISAC did the original design, and then we took it over. So, you know, we're building, you know, we already had the signal permitted and everything, so we went through all the, updating all the plans with, DOT and going through the plan review process with them, and as well as doing the shop drawing reviews. So, yes, sir, we've done a lot of coordination with DOT on this.
Well, the reason why I was asking, I heard, I don't know, there was some conversation about some poles that Georgia Power had to be moved, and I never did see where they were interfering anywhere there.
And that was at the,
Those were light poles that they did move. They were like two, not red lights, but street lights. And they
Going
were
into the subdivision?
going into the subdivision. They were inside the curb and gutter, and they've moved them out a couple weeks ago. So if you go in the new section of curb and gutter now, there's a couple of light poles that are right behind the curb. A couple weeks ago, they were right in front of the curb. So you didn't really notice them because, you know, if you didn't, oh, that's in front of the curb, that's weird. They just moved, all they had to move them was this far. So it wasn't very far.
But they charge, right?
Yes, sir, and the city of Flemington paid for it.
That's good.
So, I got an earful. about asking, but they did pay for it. So, Live Oak Drive, unless you tell me otherwise, I'm gonna try to have it out, so the bid's open on the 31st of July.
Please. But I do see in your notes, you said something about the city with the potholes.
Yeah, they hadn't done it, we're just, I've got, several junction boxes
Live
or,
Oak Drive and Live Oak
what I
Street
call
mixed up.
interference boxes, in case I run into them. That way I can move forward with it the way I have it.
Okay.
So, and I'm sure, because where I need them to do it is in the pavement. And I think there's a little bit of reluctance to try to cut it into the pavement right there.
Okay. Okay.
So, but I would love to have it, so I knew what my conditions are. But do I absolutely have to have it? No. But I'll have boxes built in, so that I'll have that built in the contract when we do it. So if I run into it several places, I got those boxes in the contract, and I don't have to come back to you every time I need a box.
Okay.
Hope that makes sense.
You didn't
Makes the
confuse me
contract
this
look
time.
really big to begin with, but, I can cut those out.
Okay.
All right, Jones Creek Pavilion. They're moving along pretty good on that. I have the white color that I think is right, and I got a light fixture that I don't like, but I need to look at it with you as soon as you can this week. If you don't mind, give me a shout. And then Half Moon Marina, talked to Sam. He's still working. Sam LaBarbera is the guy that's helping us. He's working on that CMPA permit and that marina permit for us.
Is that a long, elongated process? And some of these things.
It just takes a while to get through it, so. Yeah, when we got into it, we were knowing that we were gonna be bumping right up on the end of the year before we got to the finish line on that one. So that takes me back to Sunshine Lake Road. Our budget on that was around $450,000. And our bid came back at $912. Our typical section that we had for the Whitaker Laboratories was pretty robust, and it ended up with almost 4 inches of asphalt on it. What we've done is we've gone back and revised that typical section to be a little bit more in line with the traffic count that we've got out there, so that we don't, I need to save about half this money. And whatever I do on this is gonna exceed changing the contract by 25%, so I'll need to put this back out for bid. And so what I'm hoping to do is put this out for bid during the month of July as well, so that we can get this one back going. But the action,
Was that a overlay or a
it's a
dirt
full depth, well, not full depth reclamation, it's deep patching.
patching?
Yes, ma'am, and there are, that road is in terrible shape. Groundwater's coming up through the asphalt.
So that's a
It
clay
rains
base.
hard, you go out there and the soil cement, red clay is coming up through the cracks in the asphalt.
So that's a clay base road.
So it's in pretty bad shape.
How long is that?
Which
road?
one is that one?
Half
Mr.
mile?
Stevens?
Sunshine Lake Road, no, it's a little more.
Sunshine Lake?
Since-
How long is it?
It's a little more than a half mile. I wish I'd have had that
Well,
number
what-
with me. If I brought the whole bid tabulation, I could tell you the exact mileage, but it's a little over half a mile.
Huh?
It's not quite
You
three-quarters
can't,
of a mile.
you don't think it'd be better in the long run to get it out and muck that clay out and
Yeah,
put,
that's what we're doing.
and then put the mat down and crush your run and do that? Is that what your plan is? And how much you said it was gonna be?
Well, what Whitaker recommended was $912,000.
Yep. that's
So
We need to find
we got
somebody
one
else like
bid from
Whitaker.
Reeves, and so I need to put it back out so I can get a little bit more, a few more bids.
Golly, that's a,
Yeah, and like I said, Whitaker had a little bit too thick of a typical section on it for me. So we kind of reduced what we think the traffic load really is and brought that back down to something that we can afford that will still give us a good road. So,
Trent,
yeah, but
do-
I can't in good faith say, hey, spend $900,000 on this road.
wow.
Mr. Mosley.
Previous than me.
Rick, we need y'all to
Previous
reject the
commissioners
bid,
dropped the ball.
to approve rejection of the bid and reauthorize Trent to re-advertise, rebid.
Okay.
Mr. Commissioner Blunt,
Blunt,
Mr. Blunt, are you being addressed by the chairman?
we need to offer a motion to reject that bid and
Yeah,
re-advertise.
I make a motion, we reject that bid and put it back out for bids. You know,
Thank you.
And I second that, Mr. Chair.
Motion secondly, we reject the bid of $912,200. And we thought we were gonna be how much? You were looking for?
I was looking for around 450,000.
Good Lord.
Well, everybody's happy right now. They want to get happy, but I
They're
don't want
working
them
on
to get
retirement
rich
funds.
off of Liberty.
All in favor, rejecting the bid?
I think that was a smart move there,
Thank
Commissioner.
you very much. We
Trent,
appreciate
Whoa,
I had a
whoa,
question.
whoa.
I had a question on Mary Todd Road.
And you have his number. I still got to
We've gotten a
vote.
lot of response, but we're still not up to half the people yet.
Okay.
So Michelle is out today.
I didn't
She's
vote
making
yet,
a
man. You
map
let me
for
go
me to
vote?
show which ones we've
You'll
got
make sure I get out
responses
here
from.
before 7.
Send those certified letters to everyone on the road or just the first phase?
Everybody.
One? Okay.
Well, everybody in what we're doing, like the section that's beyond where Howard Road turns off, and goes back around and takes that hard curve, we didn't do that, so I didn't send anybody up there.
Okay, all right. Because you know.
But we did
may-
find out that the mail carrier was not delivering a lot of the certified mail to people's houses. He wouldn't go through their gates or anything. So as a matter of fact, we sent those out over a month ago. I got one of the green cards today.
So what was he leaving it like a note for them to pick it up at the,
Nope, we found that out from other residents, that they were not even leaving notes for them to pick it up.
How many residences out there, Commissioner, through?
42.
but that's the whole length of the road, but we may only have to do a 1 and 2, 3
Now, that's
phase.
42 people that I need to get something from.
Right, before, okay.
Then
Now, I
keep
have a
that-
couple that really don't want to give, I have a couple that want to be paid. And I don't have anybody that's dead set against it like we had on the water system. But,
Okay.
you know, I think we can work, most everybody that I've gotten we can work through.
Okay,
May have some resistance to it, but I think we can work through everybody.
Four-wheel drive.
because I want them to realize I may only have enough to do phase 1. But we can go ahead and get the right-of-way or easements,
right-
and
get
then,
right-of-way the
once
whole
we
way.
get the funding, then we'll move, okay, all right.
All right. Mr. Long,
Uh-oh,
got 9 questions.
didn't let me go soon enough.
So, number one, you know, I've got great concerns about the fire hydrants on 84
Yes, sir.
being in the wood line.
Yes, sir.
What was your recommendation if we can get anything so that the fire hydrant will be more accessible
So
in the
what-
need of time?
Yes, sir. So I looked at several of those. We have those where we have to put them. We don't have much choice. We have a easement that we got to be in, and we can't put them in the right-of-way. So all the trees that you see are inside the right-of-way. So I can't do anything about those trees. I have gotten verbal permission from DOT, and for each one of those fire hydrants, we cleared out a little path so that everybody can get to the fire hydrants. We will have the blue raised pavement markings in the road that signify where the fire hydrants are. So when we have a ditch that may be full of water, if it's during time of rain or something like that, what we're gonna do is kind of see where my funds are when I get closer to the end. Hopefully I'll have some savings, and then I can go back to the contractor and say, I need a price for, and see if DOT will let me go ahead and put in an 8-foot joint of pipe so that we can take foot traffic across that, to get to that fire hydrant. We have to realize that this is limited access right now, and I may or may not be able to get the permission to put pipes in there if they consider it access. So we're gonna work our best to try to do that, but you can still get to them, you know. Not necessarily gonna be the most comfortable if the ditch has some water in it, but we can get to it. And it's gonna be that way on either side of the street that we do this on. If we had been on the other side of the street, we'd have had a lot of the same scenario, except for where the houses are. Then, where the houses are, I would have been under some of the houses, because they're right up on the right-of-way in a couple of places. So we're pretty much where we have to be with those fire hydrants. We have them spaced closely together so that we don't have long lengths of time without fire hydrants, which is an added expense to us, but we did it so that we knew that we had to be able to get to different places as we do this. But the only thing that I can do to go back and try to make the accessibility to them is to see if we can add jointed pipe at the end. So we're starting those conversations with DOT to see if we can put a jointed pipe in there. Secondly, I gotta find the money to put the jointed pipe in there to do that. So, and I'm hoping that I have some money in the end of his contract to be able to do it.
All right, next one. Sign for the fire station. The one
Say
that,
that one more time.
the signs for the fire station on 84, the
Yes,
one, did you order them?
Yes, sir, DOT was gonna put them in themselves. So they were gonna do it on our behalf.
But when,
I will check on that. I ride through there every day, and I did not even think that those were not in. But I will check on those.
okay. Also, I seen where that they did some regrassing on Bill Carter Road. You know, I had not bothered you with that lately. They
Yes,
did?
sir. As a matter of fact, they called me about that today. So they have gone out and taken soil samples and sent it off to USGA to get samples and what kind of grassing to put on it, and they are actively trying to fix that. There's also a couple of cracks in the road where that old oak tree was that, although we all feel that's from the roots decaying underneath the roadway, they are fixing it at their dime, even though it's beyond the warranty. So they were supposed to be out there this week to do that. They called me today and told me that they will probably be next week to get something out on that so that we don't. They're not gonna do like digging down and digging out the cracks, digging out the roots. We're gonna seal off the cracks and seal it so we don't get groundwater down in there and promote any more decay. So
I mean, you think about how old is that pavement now? About 3 years old?
the asphalt we put down there,
About 2.
is it 3? It's
I'll go-
2, it's over 1.
I'll go with
I
2.
think it's right, 2.
If we're having that problem with 2, to me, they didn't do it right from the beginning.
Say that again?
They didn't do it right from the start.
No, I'm not so sure that I can necessarily agree with that.
I can.
So, you know, the thing about that road is we had, the way we presented it and the way we did it was with a full depth reclamation, where we put concrete and we didn't do like deep patching on there. And we did remove the tree as part of this project. Now, one thing I could have done in the contract is gone ahead and put a pile of money in there to dig up the road and dig up the roots and see what was going on. But we chose not to put that kind of money in our contract to make that work.
Yeah.
So, but they're out there working on it and trying to make their product good for us, which I'm glad that they're doing.
Okay? And don't forget about our meeting next week on the roundabout
Yes, sir. I've got that, I have that on my calendar.
at 4 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
I'm ready to go.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mosley, next Wednesday.
Did we say we were meeting at the
We
site?
have them,
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Or it might be at one of the churches, but it's gonna be right there where
We're
during
walk
that
out
time,
look.
during that time, we'll be able to observe the traffic also.
Oh, yes, sir. No, I've been up and down that route a lot, so I got you.
Okay?
I agree with you.
All right, that's all. I think,
Thanks, sir.
All right, thanks, sir.
I got some questions, but I'll ask you offline. I'm trying to get through this meeting. Liberty County Development Authority, Ms. Bryn Grant is here, the still fairly new CEO of the Liberty County Development Authority. She likes to term it, I use her words, a home girl has come home.
Let's give her a hand.
Happy to have her in our community serving. And she's come with a lot of enthusiasm. She's come with a lot of forward thinking. And she has, I see some of our staff is out there. Wave your hand. Ms. Lewis is on the Development Authority, and then our staff, wave your hand too. Good to have y'all.
I've loved being back. I'm excited about the progress we're making, and I am very pleased to greet you all today, Chairman, Commissioners, County Administrator, and deliver our strategic plan. Before I do that, I did want to recognize and introduce our staff to you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump the
The two
gun.
that could join me here today, Katie Dye is our Director of Marketing, And Beth Hancock is our Director of Finance, Administration, and Compliance, who is a CPA. Beth joined us on July 1st last year, Katie July 15th, so they're nearing their anniversary. And I'm really excited that our board member and executive committee member, Willa Lewis, is here tonight.
He comes to visit quite often.
She does. She does. So, about August of last year, our board moved forward with a strategic planning effort. We invited or commissioned Boyette Strategic Advisors. Dale Boyette had been the Deputy Commissioner for the Georgia Department of Economic Development and then led the incentives group at Deloitte. Before he and his partner and COO left Deloitte to form Boyette Strategic Partners, and they have been in business now over 20 years. They've worked with a lot of regional organizations like ours and across the state and across the nation. So we were excited to have their expertise here in Liberty County to work with us. We surveyed and interviewed and had focus groups, and we got feedback from over 400 people either living or working in Liberty County. And when you have an opportunity to read the strategic plan that we've put before you, you'll see some of their feedback, because stakeholder comments are interspersed throughout the report, word for word, the way we received them. So with all of that feedback, I am going to highlight just a few things about that strategic plan. And I'll say that I worked last night. Katie worked on this the day before, and then last night I was working on our PowerPoint presentation, and I sent to Maria, I think, 66 slides. And
You trying to crash our system?
I texted the chairman this afternoon and said, how much time do I have? He said 5 minutes. So we did send only 9 slides, so I'm going to
But I did say with Q&A.
with Q&A, of course. I think that's really the best part. So 9 slides is great, and I'm just going to highlight a few things that might help get some thinking going. Certainly one of the things about this strategic plan was to identify target industries for our proactive efforts. So when you have limited resources, limited staff, limited time, no matter how hard we work, we have to be focused about where we are going to direct our proactive business development efforts. And one of the parts of this study was the research of and the evaluation of what we think and what our consultants thought might be the most effective and the most successful types of industrial projects that would work in Liberty County. I don't think it's surprising to see automotive and EV suppliers there. I believe with the incredible investment, the largest project in the history of the state of Georgia, located just north of us in our neighboring county of Bryan County, we are already feeling incredible impacts, and we are very fortunate, and I commend this county for having already secured and located a Hyundai supplier, a Tier 1 Hyundai supplier with Sohan. Thrilled to have them in Liberty County. And whatever happens in that, just attended a conference that really examined the EV market and the political environment and how that's constantly changing. Even so, the impact of the project and the investment that's already being made is going to have ripple effects. And so automotive or EV or both, depending on the evolution of those industries, I think is still a very strong market for our proactive efforts. Aerospace and aviation, Department of Defense related suppliers and manufacturers. Cold storage and e-commerce are the higher value distribution projects. So you'll note at the end of your strategic plan that we've given you, there was also an incentive policy guideline. And one of the things you'll see is very conservative incentive program related to distribution and a very aggressive incentive program related to manufacturing, because manufacturing is higher wage, manufacturing invests more, manufacturing has deeper roots, manufacturing is a primary economic driver that brings new money into a community, spreads it around, and really does what is our mission to do, which is increase the standard of living and expand the tax base, which we're all interested in doing. So you note a focus on manufacturing, and then our distribution focus from an industrial perspective is the higher value distribution projects like cold storage and e-commerce. Higher numbers of employees and higher wages in those two. And I have a quote there because I think this makes sense. Having a target gives you something to aim for, but it doesn't limit what you can shoot. And that means that we are continuing to see projects of every type. So what we can work and what we can maybe locate will not be limited to those 5, but our strategic efforts, our proactive efforts will be more focused in those areas than not, because those are estimated to be high value to us. Those are 5 areas that we can work, and certainly partnership is so important. In fact, just this week as we were working through our file room and finding old documents, I saw a note from TAC Argentinas to ML Kofer saying that while they had received for Elon Technology, that they had received higher and bigger and more lucrative incentives from other places, they chose Liberty County because of the relationships and the trust. And I think that was very powerful. I wish I'd have taken a picture of it. I'm going to, and I'm going to send it to you, because it's not only just trust internally, but it's the trust that we establish with our clients and our partners and our businesses too. Those 5 targets that I just shared are targets that we'll be focusing on, but these other 2 were community opportunities that are bigger than just the Liberty County Development Authority, that require all of us. One you'll see that was identified as an opportunity is retail and entertainment. I don't think that's a surprise. I think that's a conversation I've been hearing since I've been here, and I'll share, and I think it might be here. I'll share that they identified through their sources an opportunity gap of $164 million in retail. So the difference between the supply and the demand in our county is represented by $164 million, which means there's a lot of opportunity. And within a 45-minute radius, the opportunity gap was $1.5 billion. So there is a lot of opportunity, and our question is, how do we work together to drive that growth the way we want to see it? And what role could the Liberty County Development Authority play to support that vision? The other thing I'll say is, with all of this demand, and I'm going to have to move faster, but with all this demand, I think that we've had to be very aggressive in Liberty County to achieve the success we've achieved in economic development over the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years. But with the incredible growth of our region, we can be, I believe, and this is certainly a theory I'm testing and will be testing, we can be a little more specific about the things we want to. And so I'm hopeful that we can balance our interests and our goals as a community with those of business and generate, I think, better, more prosperous, higher quality results as an outcome. So retail and entertainment, I think, is an interesting component. The other thing that they identified were priorities that are absolutely something that are community-wide and not just the Liberty County Development Authority. Some are: create a dynamic brand and a communication strategy with dozens of recommendations about how we will do that, new website, new ways of communicating and marketing the properties that we have available here that represent opportunities for business investment, attracting, supporting, and retaining business and industry, advocating for public education, supporting Fort Stewart. We all know that their economic impact is incredible for our community and for our region, and how might we continue to invest in the very best possible relationship with our military that brings about the very best possible results. I think with many, many good things, with big projects, there are big challenges, even when there are big opportunities and results, and certainly that represents one that I think we could spend a little time on. Foster a culture of entrepreneurship. How might we partner with Georgia Southern, the Hinesville Incubator, to increase entrepreneurial opportunities, capitalize on local tourism? Certainly the Chamber and Convention and Visitors Bureau do an excellent job, but we have assets here that are under appreciated, not necessarily by locals, but they're not known or appreciated enough, and maybe there are ways we can invest in some of these assets that could attract even just a fraction. And this isn't new. This isn't a new idea, and y'all have heard that before. There are 20+ million tourists in Savannah, 45 minutes away. And there are ways, I think, that we can attract some of those. And so supporting the Chamber and the Convention and Visitors Bureau in their work and exploring what that might look like. And of course, in enhancing livability assets, which is talking about design and beautification and those sorts of things. So I look forward to you guys taking a look at that when you have an opportunity and reading it. And I'm happy to meet with any one or group of you, or come back here and have a conversation of greater depth at whatever time that you'd be interested in. Since I'm not giving you the 66 slides, you wouldn't have to read it then. So that just highlights that we did approve this strategic plan and the incentive policies at our May board meeting. And I look forward to getting your feedback. This last slide is about the economic impact of D.S. Smith and International Paper. I share it because one big part of our incentives policy is the retention of industry and the support of expanding local industry. Local industry that's already here is your best customer. By far, keeping the customer you have or the client you have or the business you have is easier than locating new ones sometimes. And Georgia Power did this economic impact analysis for us just last month. And with the mill and the lumber and the timber, the total annual economic impact is over $329 million annually. So we are working with them to try to figure out how to help them be as competitive as possible as International Paper evaluates their portfolio of new properties and new facilities, so that they may consider and want to keep this facility open. We have no idea what they're thinking yet, but the door is open. We're walking through it, and we are doing our best to make this facility be as competitive as it can be. What the outcome will be, I have no way of knowing, but we're putting our best foot forward as the Liberty County Development Authority, and we are making it clear to them that we intend to be good partners in this evaluation. So, and that is a part of our strategic plan, of course. So, I think that's it.
Brian,
Good job.
with DS, what'd you call it, DS Smith?
International Paper.
International Paper. Do you have a time frame of looking?
I wish I did.
I think you know where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
The chairman knows where I'm.
Yeah, for sure. I do not know. And I'm not sure if we'll get that answer. So we have been in regular communication with them. And interestingly, I don't think that any of the leadership here really knows either. Those are decisions that are being made at headquarters, and they have just bought, I don't know, I wouldn't want to quote the numbers, but a significant portfolio of properties around the country and the world. And this is just one. And I know that they have closed others, but I don't know the timeline, and I'm not sure when we will. I am hoping that we'll have another meeting there in the next several weeks or sometime in July, so that might give us a better sense of it.
Brent, I like the program and enjoyed the time we got to spend together. There was some conversation about a tri-county group, and I just wondered, was that still ongoing with Liberty, McIntosh, and Long, or have we?
We voted
Sir?
on that.
Y'all voted on it.
I know,
Thank
but-
you so very much.
We
But I'm just saying,
we
what-
voted
what
on
are
that
we-
already.
What are we looking at there?
So all three counties have approved the resolution to create the Joint Development Authority, and we have an announcement plan that should be in your inbox. Information about that should be in your inbox.
So all of the, what I'm trying to say then, all the other counties have decided, are they gonna have their own office? Or they're gonna be working through your office? or y'all gonna all be collectively on a monthly basis? to
We
do
will
it?
be meeting on a regular basis. In fact, frankly, we have already been. So this authority will exist, not necessarily in one physical place, but it will be a representation of all three of our offices and our counties. So the next step for us, we're going to officially announce soon the name of the Joint Development Authority and take a moment to catch a breath and say, you know, here we are, we know the hard work is ahead, and that'll only be 1 week. And then we will move forward with officially creating that board. So we will be back in communication with you guys about those next steps. Creating the board, creating the bylaws, and working through those questions. That's our next step.
You brought up a good point about the, you know, the tourism in Savannah, and of course, you know, we've tried that a couple of times, and it never really got off the ground, but, you know, some of the tourism is still in Savannah, and then the growth is out in the Pooler area or the Bryan County area. And that's what I was wondering, are we gonna be able to see probably other type of growth into the McIntosh, Long areas and to where it would complement us?
I think that's a great question, and I understand the history. I see the historic Liberty Trail signs everywhere. I love them. But I can see that they're outdated, and some of them are green, and so I recognize that it was tried and that maybe didn't see its full potential. I do think things are different today, and I will come back to you and tell you I'm wrong if I'm wrong, but I will tell you that everything I'm looking at tells me it's moving down I-95. The development at Belfast Keller, one exit above us, is astounding. Not just Heartwood, but the announcement right out a year ago, and I think they've now broken ground on a Kessler project, the Kessler Collection. They are the developers of the Plant Riverside District, the mansion in town. This gentleman, Mr. Kessler, started with Days Inn, and he was a Effingham County boy who started with Days Inn decades ago, who broke out on his own years later and has created this very high-end hospitality brand, and he is investing in Belfast Keller Road. When I heard that, even I was amazed, and I was already impressed with the planning and the development and the quality of what was happening just one exit ahead of us. And so I feel like it is absolutely rolling this way. The expansion is not just, while there's certainly a lot going down I-16, and that was primary, perhaps, especially from an industrial perspective, but that it's coming down I-16. I mean, I-95, I'm sorry, yes. I do believe that we have assets that are compelling. We have amazing stories that are unique, not just here in this region, unique in our country. And I think if we work together to play off those, and the name of this plan is Link Liberty. There's a reason for that. Link internally in ways maybe that we haven't been recently, or I don't know if ever, but link internally and link externally. Link to opportunities that maybe are not aware of and or connected to Liberty County today, but can be and should be, and I hope will be.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me? Please read and call me, because I'd love to sit down and have coffee with any of you and welcome your thoughts and comments. It is a living, breathing document. It will evolve with us over time. It is not written in stone, but it gives us a path forward. There's a metrics plan and an implementation plan that goes with it, so we'll be reporting back on a regular basis about our progress. Thank you.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. While he's thinking, one of your board members came in when you were talking to.
Melissa Carter-Ray, our vice chair. Thank
There
you
we
for
go.
being here.
I just wanted to make a statement, just say thank you for coming back home. And then also, thank you for coming up with this more progressive living document. I've been talking about this for quite a long time, but sometimes it's not the message, it's the messenger. So obviously, you look a little bit better than me, so hopefully they'll listen to your recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Brenda. Yeah. Liberty County Fire Department, Mr. Brian Diary.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners.
Good evening.
I am coming before you tonight on two different topics. First topic is going to be in regards to the renewal for the Riceboro Fire Department's intergovernmental agreement contract for them providing protection to a portion of the unincorporated area that falls within their fire district currently. Looking back historically, as far as I can find, Liberty County has entered into an agreement with them for a period of 15 plus years. So this is just a renewal. I did come before all of you, I believe it was last month, and was asked to rework the contract instead of a direct payment to do it for a paid per call. So I have reworked that for a paid per call. So that way they will only receive payment should they answer the calls. Commissioner Frazier, you were asking numbers, sir. I got you some numbers.
Oh, let's go.
Not all of it. I got you some numbers. So, again, the analytical side of being able to run statistics, I know Clint Stanley is still working that platform, trying to get it. So this is busting out every single call. But for the city of Riceboro, sir, for the month of April and the month of May, Liberty County Fire was dispatched into that district 26 times. Of those 26 times, 23 of them were medical, 1 of them was fire, and 2 of them is what we classify as rescues and services. Rescues and services are what we classify more along the lines of like traffic accidents with injuries, those types of calls. I have more numbers for you, but that's on the second topic.
Okay.
So I know you're a statistics guy, and I'm gonna continue to bring them to you, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And of those calls, even further, of the 26 calls in the month of April and the month of May, 19 of them were inside of the city limits of Riceboro. 7 of them were in the unincorporated, but in the Riceboro Fire Department's fire district. Hope that answers all your stat questions.
Yeah, just for today. Yeah,
I appreciate it, sir.
That's pretty good, though.
You know he wasn't gonna say yeah.
Because I got questions.
19 inside the city limits, but they did not answer the call?
So this is not whether, that's a lot more of a dive, Commissioner Thrift. So with it, of that is Chemtall, for example. If Chemtall has a fire alarm there, the city of Riceboro gets dispatched, and so does Liberty County Fire. We send, especially because it's an industry, that counts as a call of us helping them. That's not something that we would look at recouping cost on, because we also have that same effect on the backside. There's certain areas of the county that we get dispatched, and Riceboro is also automatically dispatched to help us out.
Those kind of wash.
Yes, sir.
I understand.
See, Commissioner Thrift, I got you jumping off the deep
All
end
right,
too.
cost per call.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is what we asked for. Commissioner, what's your pleasure?
Make a motion, we approve the contract.
How much is the cost?
The cost will be fluctuating based off of the federal FEMA reimbursement rates. Right now, maybe 120, nothing to quote me on, Commissioner Walden, but $120 for a fire truck per hour. But it fluctuates. So as the FEMA reimbursement rates change at the federal level, then so would this as well.
That's just for the truck. That's not
That-
counting your manpower?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Well, I would like to say that I'll support it for 1 more year,
Yes, sir.
but we gotta do something different.
Yes, sir.
1 year, 12 months from today.
Well, it's
Whatever it
an
goes.
annual contract. Yeah.
Sir?
He'll come back in a year.
Yes, sir. It's
Well, yeah, and I'll be here in a year from now.
But what were we paying them before, just to,
So-
bring Ms.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Walden up?
So for approximately the last 6 years, we have been paying them $16,000 a year, and they received payment twice a year. Once was in January, and once was right as the budget closed out. We paid them the remainder.
So this probably less.
It could be, yes, ma'am.
Possibly.
Could be, yeah.
Did you talk with the city about that, about this agreement?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay.
Going there next.
So you'll be going there next?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
this- Okay, I got you. Okay.
This is, I will say, this is a contract that they have seen before and have approved before. 2 years ago, this same exact contract came before all of you, you approved it. There was some failure of execution on the city sides in order to get repayment. They will be held to the letter of the contract. If they don't submit for reimbursement, we're not just gonna pay them because it's spelled out, submit payment at least at a minimum in a quarterly basis. And should there be any discrepancies, it actually gets forwarded over to Mr. Mosley for him to be the tiebreaker.
Do we have, can it be structured like your utility bill where it goes out to them? But if you're only doing it per call, well, it'd be the same thing, though. It'd be the same thing. I'm not sure we can do that kind of thing where we can, because we're waiting on them just to send us a check.
I can't, so
Okay.
100%, I will be more than glad to work with the fire department and say, hey, if you're wanting your money to be more income on a faster basis,
Yeah.
I'll work with them, absolutely. That's not an issue on my side. I just figured more time for them to be able to process
Well,
paperwork.
not just them, but some folk, if you don't send them a bill, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But yes, so the contract currently reads on a quarterly basis, but I would 100% have no issue, especially working with Miss Samantha, to do a payment on a monthly basis. I think either way will work perfectly fine for her office and my office.
But based on this, and I hear you, Commissioner Frazier, if they made a call in unincorporated Liberty County for us, they should invoice us.
So yes, that's what,
Going
that's
forward.
correct. So that's what this would be. And then if we answered a call in their fire district and they did not respond, they wouldn't be able to get paid for it. So in a way, it would be money sitting in the bank.
Yeah.
I like this. Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Darby, Chief Darby, you did say that, like a call to Chemtall, that, Riceburg goes and we go to because we're responsible for that.
Yes, sir.
And the cost would kind of be like a wash. I
It
think
would be,
that's-
yes, yes,
okay.
sir.
What I guess my question is, and how many did you say it was? 9, 19 or something like that? Whatever that number was. And I'm pretty sure that your guys, our guys went to all of them.
Yes, sir.
Do you-
Unless we were advised by Riceboro to stand by.
So do you know if, the ones that we did go to, and they were supposed to be there as well, do you know if they were there?
So that's how this would be covered. So the way that the contract's currently structured is, to answer your question, is let's say that there is a fire alarm call to Chemtall. What would happen is, and they did not respond and we went, they would not get paid, so that money would be a savings in our side. So it would stay in our general fund, almost paying ourselves.
Right, but I guess my question is, let's say we went to 10 of them,
Yes, sir.
because that's how many calls it was.
Yes, sir.
And they were supposed to go to 10 of them. And you just said we went to 10 of them. And my question is, were they at 10 of them as well?
We can find out through fire reports. Yes, sir. We can track that data and we can pull those numbers. Do I have those numbers today? I don't.
Well, when you get it, when you get it, just text it to me.
Will do, sir.
I'm betting them 4 out of 10.
Yes, sir. Now, and I will say, Riceboro Fire Department tries, they go when they can, they're working full-time jobs.
Which is why I'm betting 4 out of 10.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Chief,
My youngest tries to clean this room.
let me, you mentioned Chemtall,
Yes,
which
sir.
is in the city limits of Riceboro.
Correct. So that is
All right.
primarily their responsibility.
What about international paper now?
So International Paper's technically in the unincorporated area of Liberty County. It's kind of its own little island. So that is where this contract, we would be paying Riceboro to respond to the calls to international or interstate paper. Should they not respond and we go, they won't get paid for it. It'll be money savings on our side. Because instead of it being $16,000 or fake numbers, nothing to hold me to, $125 for paying them to go, because we went the whole way and they didn't, that's $125 that stays in the bank.
Okay.
And that might be something that we could work internally of, if we did, we pull the, again, fake numbers, 125 out of that line number and move it into a fuel cost or vehicle maintenance on our side.
The $125 thing, which is, you know, I don't know, you can't pay for the trucks, the people you're gonna have on the trucks, but, you know, if we show up and we put the fire out and nobody in Riceboro shows up, then they should be reimbursing us. Is that the way you got it fixed?
No, sir.
Well, I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, you got volunteers down there, I understand that. And they don't, if they see your trucks coming, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna go back to the house. So then are we gonna bill them for that?
They won't do
It's just like water. I mean, if somebody goes down there and, you know, leaves the water running at the city hall and it's theirs, somebody's gonna have to wind up paying for it. It'll be the taxpayer.
And
So
the truck's going.
the same thing about it. I mean, we know there's taxes that's generated from Chemtall. We know there's taxes that's generated from Riceboro.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, there's not the population that's down there, and they've got enough wells, but what I'm saying is, we're still putting a Band-Aid on something all the time.
Yes, sir.
And if you're gonna be a city, and you're gonna have a fire department, a police department, or whatever, then, I mean, how long have we been doing this, Mr. Chairman? For years.
Let's
since
let
we
my
had
chief, let's
volunteers.
let my fire chief respond to you.
So my recommendation on that, Commissioner Walden, would be, should you want to bill a city government for us to responding in their district due to either one, the inability or to the lack of ability to respond to a call, we need to get into some type of agreement between the board and those municipalities saying that, yes, we will now charge for our services being rendered. But that kind of agreement versus what's in before all of y'all tonight are two.
I understand that.
Yes, sir. But I am 100% in understanding, and I can pose something in writing. I can get it up to Mr. Mosley for us to do a blanket across any of the municipalities.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to answer those calls.
Yes, sir.
If it's a fire. Now, you know, some of these accidents, or other than that, you know, the EMS is right there in Midway and they can respond to it, but there may be that opportunity. I know I saw EMS in Hinesville and then all of a sudden a fire truck shows up. Well, there wasn't no fire and there was 3 people on the EMS truck, so, you know, I don't know why they showed up. If it's just because our call volume is so high and we want to prove that this is where we really need this, that's one thing, but, you know, let's get the bill and let's pay that if we, I mean, they can pay it or whatever's gonna wind up happening on it.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, I agree that we are gonna look after the citizens that's got to have their fire put out.
Yes, sir.
But if there's somebody else down there that's drawing a check for going out or drawing a retirement from the Georgia Firefighters Fund or going to because they're a volunteer and not showing up, that dog ain't gonna hunt with me, I can tell you.
100%, and neither would it with me, sir. So, Chairman and Board, do you want to handle each topic individually?
Yes, sir. We
Okay.
had we ready to vote? We didn't vote, did we, Ms. Mosley?
No, we did not.
Y'all
vote.
got a motion and no second.
Second.
We didn't get a second?
What? So
I
it
did.
died?
I seconded it for 1 year.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Got a
He did.
second.
He did. All in favor?
That's 12 months, any way you look at it.
All right, now Midway Fire Department.
So in regards to Midway, I'm coming before all of you, the current intergovernmental agreement that was signed and executed on both parties on March 11th of this year for us to be running calls in their district and billing them for it is getting ready to expire. So I come before you to request an extension of a 90-day extension of this existing contract as to current date. I don't know where the status of compliancy is. That is something that is handled between that local government and the Georgia Fire Standards and Training Council. But I am requesting an extension. I will tell you numbers.
Cool. Let's go.
From March 11th, the day that the contract was executed, through the end of May. March, we ran 20 calls. April, we ran 13 calls. May, we ran 21 calls for a total of 54. Of those, 28 of them were medical, 11 of them were fire-related, and 15 of them were rescues or services. And that's, again, solely inside the city limits of.
They had 11 fires?
Fire-related. So
I-
7 of them are going to be fire alarm calls. 1 of them is a vehicle fire, and 3 of them were some type of brush or wildland fire.
Wildfire.
Okay.
No structural fires.
Oh, see, you tried to get me with that one.
I didn't mean to.
No, I
Yeah,
read
we-
into it, that's why I
We,
said it.
we classify.
Fire-related.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Chief, are they paying anything for the
Firefighters,
calls?
boy, y'all
Yes,
think y'all
ma'am, they
slick.
are. So I have submitted March,
That's going by the
and I
guideline of the
just
state.
finished submitting April, May's, again, tallying stuff up by hand, and that'll get to Miss Samantha hopefully by the end of this week, and she'll bill it out. And I do know, I have confirmed, they have been paying.
Y'all firefighters
They've
about
been
slick.
paid, and we charge them $125 a run?
They get charged the FEMA rate, plus the hourly rate of the assigned personnel on that apparatus. Plus an admin
That's
fee.
what we agreed on, yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
contract.
So, and obviously you can't tell us anything about the status. It was,
What I can tell you is I have met Chief Reynolds, very nice guy. Went down in, I believe it was late March, early April. And met with him, had a good conversation with him, extended open arm invitation to try to help out anywhere can be. And they looked like they were moving towards it. I believe
Have you met 'em?
from passing by that fire station, it looks like they have trucks in the station, the building is back operational. So would I say that there's progress? Yes, but I'm not the one who would turn and issue their compliance back. That's the state.
Let me do this since they're in our audience. Oh, yeah, there he is. The mayor is here and the mayor pro tem is here. Do either of you all want to address where you are with your fire station? Because this is about, Chief Darby is recommending we extend the contract for 90 days.
90 days
So when would that culminate?
Expiration of October 1st at midnight.
Okay. Whatever y'all want to,
Yes, ma'am.
whatever y'all want to add or not. If
Good
it-
afternoon, Chairman.
Put you on the spot.
Commissioners, everybody else in their respective places.
Yeah.
I have council members in charge of different departments. So this is Mayor Pro Tem Department, so that's why I brought her along, so she can answer all questions and give you all the update.
Okay.
You see how they have their own departments?
Questions?
Yeah, how many firefighters do you have down there?
We have 4 full-time and 4 part-time, total of 8.
Total of 8?
And we're still advertising.
You're still what now?
Advertising.
Okay.
We do have an engine and a ladder truck that we have purchased.
Yeah, does that mean pro temp?
And we have a pumper tank on order.
So you saying you have 8 now?
8.
So I guess the question would be, what is preventing you all now from being fully in service with the amount of 8?
We have not been, received our certification from the state. We are working on, we have 2 persons to complete their certification. And when that's done, then we will apply for a certification from the state, reinstatement.
Are those 2 upper level or lower level?
Upper.
Upper level, okay. That makes sense.
Can you do that within 30 days?
90?
Yes.
90 days.
No,
Yes.
I'm asking, do you
Yes.
have them
Yes, we
certified within
can.
30 days?
Yes, we can. It will be
Okay,
less
so
than
that-
30
That
days.
answers my question.
Yes,
And
sir.
so then I'd make a motion, we extend it for 30 days, and that's it. That'll give them time to get their people and get them on board.
second,
All right, the motion is that we extend the contract for 30 days per, what's the word, feedback from Mayor Pro Tem.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
I have a question. Chief Darby, you said that, and you gave some numbers, how many calls that we responded to. that's, so the city of Midway is not responding? I mean, Ms. Washington just said that they have firemen, so, but because they're not certified, we're running all the
Right.
calls?
Yeah, we did that.
Correct.
Currently, you would actually be
That's what we
illegal
agreed
for
to.
them to run calls without an active
What we
compliance.
agreed to.
So they got a fire department that's not active,
Right.
In
Not
progress.
compliance.
and a chief and everything?
Yes, but we're not in compliance at this time. as
So-
you
so he
said.
can't-
So we're working on it, right?
Just sitting out there with a fire suit on? Just
No, he's
hat
not.
and
He wearing
everything?
everyday clothes like
Okay,
everybody else.
okay. I just thought he just dressed up and
No,
all
with the
dressed,
bars.
all dressed up with nowhere to go.
no, there are a lot of things to be done to get your, station back up and running.
Okay.
Everybody getting.
So, if something was to happen right now, the county would handle that?
Right.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And then, so, Mr. Chair, just for clarification, so what our intergovernmental agreement with them is still intact from a fiscal standpoint? Or we're not? So just like, honestly, I can't even remember which one we have. Do we have one like we just passed with Riceboro?
It's
Or is
different.
this a?
No, it's different.
Similar.
It's similar but different, so we have temporarily taken over primary emergency response inside the city limits of Midway. And with that, the city has agreed to pay us per call, per apparatus, per individual on the truck, as long as this agreement's in place. This agreement originally was for a 90-day period with the option to extend an additional 90 days.
Right, I just want,
Whatever the board
there we go. All right, so, but we have a motion and second for 30-day extension.
Because she says she can get them done within 30 days. So that would be 30 days from tonight.
No, that would be
They've al-
30 days
it's
from the
from
date the
July
contract
1st.
expires.
Yeah, she's right.
Was it July? When was the contract?
It was June 30th was the end of it.
Okay,
So it would be July
I
1
want to make
forward.
sure.
July 1,
They
it'll
have
be
enough
30
time?
days
Okay,
out,
yeah.
added on to that.
Right.
And then the two that you need to get certified, they're part of your 8,
Yes.
but they're upper level. But you have 4, if I'm not, did you say you had 4 that were good to go? But they can't go to a fire if those
I
4?
said we had 4 full-time hired
Four.
persons.
Okay, but they can't go to the fire.
No, we're not in compliance
they're
with
not.
the
No, you're
state.
not in
We can't go anywhere.
Okay.
Even if they were, we could not
They don't have
go
the
until we
license,
were
right?
in compliance
state
with the
license.
state, which we are not.
But when you get those 2 certified, you'll be in compliance?
We'll be sending that information to the
Okay.
state, and they will
Okay.
have to certify
all right.
us. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, got
Ms.
it.
Washington,
But-
did we not try to work, I mean, I thought we had a plan for Midway, didn't we? And then it fell through?
It's getting hot in here.
He just,
Yeah.
Commissioner Walden, he just came to say that, come on, Brian, you gotta learn how to.
I really want to vote today.
We had
Seriously.
the intergovernmental agreement is what is currently the Board of Commissioners are sitting in with the city of Midway
We all
government.
voted on, agreed on.
So that is an active agreement that would expire in Moonlight on June 30th of this year. So this tonight is just asking for, as you've made the motion, a 30-day extension to Moonlight on July 30th at midnight.
But I mean, did we ever approach the city of Midway about us looking after it, taking the,
We did,
do
yes,
that?
sir.
And that was turned down?
Yes, sir. we
Okay,
did.
so that's good then. Just keep it at the 30 days.
Commissioner
Pro
Blunt?
Tem Washington,
Yes, sir.
you can intercede too, just to kind of help clear things up. The agreement we at now will end of June, 1st of July?
It'll be, yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Walden put out that, you asked for 90 days, he wants to do 30. I don't want to cripple you. I want everybody to look at this, you made it, you'd like to have 90. Will y'all be, if you do the 90, are you going to be where you need to be compliant and run into 4 people or more, if given that time, and your whole operation be compliant within 90 days? It doesn't sound like you could make the 30-day deadline if we went with that, but will it be possible to make the 90, or are we gonna be right back here, same thing again, readdressing this?
So here would be my recommendation on both sides, and please understand, I've got to stay in the middle just for the operations side. My recommendation would be as for a 90-day extension, should that be approved. Because should the city of Midway turn and request for reinspection for a validation of their certification, and maybe they're missing one thing, that'll give them time to be able to fix that versus if not, because there's just over 530 fire departments in the state of Georgia for 4 people at the state to actually come down and do reviews. So if Midway is not where they need to be in the state's eyes and they miss one small thing, it could be 3-4 weeks before the state's able to get back down. So that was the sole reason why I had requested 90 days. If the motion is where it is, but
So Chief
They
Darby,
didn't approve the first one.
So Chief Darby, so with you having the experience that you have, and you know how the state operate, is that the reason why you wanted the 90 days?
yes, sir.
Not based on Midway being at fault, but maybe the state can't get down here time enough to do it.
It gives the city of Midway Fire Department the ability to, if they're standing up something new, that, through this process, I think it's a fair statement to say that they have wiped clean, getting stood up, and they're not going from a volunteer program back to a volunteer program. They're going from a volunteer program to a paid program, and think about how long that took us. Now, granted, we are vastly much larger than what the city of Midway is, but there's a lot of hurdles, and one small piece, by the interpretation of the Georgia Fire Standards Training Council, if it's misinterpreted, it can be a missing document, and then that evaluator may come and be like, nope, let me know when you have everything and I'll be back. It's not a let me run over to the desk and get it, it's.
Mr. Chairman.
But that's what I was, Mr. Chair, I guess this is a discussion, but we already have a motion and we have a second, so therefore we still have to go through with a vote.
This discussion, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if either the vote passes or the vote fails, if the vote fails, we could do a new motion for 90 days, but the first motion was for 30, and it was
Correct.
seconded. So
And-
we gotta go. See, Dr. Washington, I did pay attention
Hey,
to
wait a minute,
Robert's rules.
Justin.
There you go.
Either that motion can be rescinded now.
And,
It was already has a
well,
second.
Chair, Chairman,
Let me say this, I'm making the motion strictly on,
The recommendations.
no, on the fact that from where this fire station is at, that we're gonna be coming from, which would probably be Miller Park,
yes, sir.
all the way back to the city limits of Flemington, down Leroy Cofer Road, some places across the railroad track, on Willie Dixon Road, different places in there, that is gonna take away from the constituents that we've got that's voted to have this. So, you know, if we're gonna put it down there, but one's already established in Midway with another government, then we need to be thinking hard about this, looking out for what's out there. I mean, you take the traffic on 84, the wrecks, the traffic on Leroy Cofer, but you've got the asphalt plant, potential fires, you've got the train, there's everything that's down there. So, you know, that was my reason. 30 days is, is plenty of time to get it done, or, you know, we just go back to square one.
Yes, sir.
If not, if we can't get it done in 30 days, then the chief can come back
No.
to us.
Bring it back.
Yeah,
He can
somebody
bring it
else can
back.
bring it back.
But can we continue? I mean, we're doing it now without approval of their city council. Because they voted no for
No,
us.
city council approved it back on, the
Well, you
signature
just
from
said
the
they
mayor
did.
was March 11th.
You said, I thought,
What
I
was-
heard that
what-
they didn't approve.
I apologize. What wasn't approved was the contract for us to
Right.
take over
Oh,
and
take
then pay the
over.
county. I apologize, Commissioner Thrift.
But they
Um,
are paying the county.
They are paying the county.
on a
per
cost
call.
run basis.
Yes, ma'am.
On a per call.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it.
I apologize.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me
And
clarify.
we did that with the option to extend.
Yeah. Well, it's for 30 days, and hopefully they can get it taken care of.
I think,
The mayor pro tem sounds very
yeah,
positive.
she sounds very confident
Yeah.
that 30 days is,
Got a good chief
I
down
mean,
there.
just listening to it, it sounds like 30 days was, she only need half of that.
Next week?
It's
All right.
as straightforward.
All in favor of the
as
motion
she
for
can be.
30 days? Yes, yeah. Okay, what I got? All right, all opposed?
I think they need more time, so. that's
I
why
think so too.
voting on it.
I thought- But I'm not going against.
Here we go.
I mean, she's there every day. She said, she didn't even clear her throat. She said, we'll be ready.
I respect that.
We'll be ready in
Yeah.
30 days.
4 to 3.
Okay. All right, 30 days it is.
30 days.
Wish you
She'll
the
get it
best.
done.
Wish you the best.
Chairman, board, any other questions for me?
No, sir. Thank you for your service. Thank you for everything you do for us.
Now, and let's, let's say they up and they certified and everything, and something happened, we still would assist them through, what is that, what is that called?
So what will end up happening is once they get their compliance back, their fire chief and I will be able to meet. We'll discuss a couple different options.
Mutual aid, I think is
One of
what
them
I'm
is
looking at.
mutual aid. The other one is automatic aid. And my recommendation to all of you, regardless of the municipality, currently would be not to enter into any automatic aid agreements. A mutual aid agreement, we do have those with most everybody around us. Bryan County, we have a document over there with them currently, awaiting signatures. But the mutual aid is a no-cost share. I'm gonna come help you. If I need help, you come help me, and everything's a wash. And that's if we can help. What won't happen is we will not empty out the ability for us to provide services to our constituents to go help somebody. We have to take care of ours first and have the ability to take care of ours first before we can go and provide the help for somebody else.
But we have a mutual aid with Bryan County,
We're currently in the works of trying to get that.
but we don't have it yet.
No, sir. One thing that we are, and it's kind of a blanket, I want to say it was, I'd have to look at Bob, I'm trying to remember. About a year, 18 months ago, the board approved for me to enter into the Georgia Mutual Aid Group. So if the fire department is a part of the Georgia Mutual Aid Group, which requires the governing body to approve it, then there's already a back-end mutual aid agreement. But we like to also have between the two partners.
So we could end up almost in Statesboro if we agree to the mutual aid for Bryan County.
It is actually, you bring up an almost identical
Clean
during
up-
the last
clean up
storm.
Clean up the Interstate 16 almost.
Well, during the last hurricane of last year, there was actually through the GMAG group, a request for us to send tender vehicles up to Augusta because they had no potable water. That came down to me. I notify our EMA agency to let them know what's going on. We collaborate and we see if we can fulfill that or not.
Okay. Come back to us before you sign that one with them.
With Bryan County?
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir, will do.
Okay, all right.
It's gotta come before y'all for final approval. I'm trying to get their signatures on it before I bring it to you for final signatures.
Just make sure, double sure that you come back before we end up on
Yes, sir.
almost in Statesboro.
Yes, sir, will do.
All right, okay.
Thank you.
RFP for hydraulic excavators, is that you, Mr. Mosley?
Mr. Chair, we sent an RFP for this mini excavator for Public Works, and we received 4 proposals. They were from Yancey Brothers at $142,590, Board Equipment, $140,890, Dobbs Equipment, $145,500, and Hills Machinery in the amount of $210. We evaluated the proposals, and we're recommending that we go with Yancey Brothers at $142,590. As Clinton reviewed the specs pretty carefully, basically, Borders, Dobbs, and the Hills did not quote per the specs. So really, Yancey Brothers was really the only one that quoted per specs.
Motion price.
Sir?
Sound like a pretty good price.
And Sam and I, we do have some money in drainage, splosh drainage 3 and 4 to pay for it. So no,
General fund.
no loans, and no money from the general fund.
Yeah, your motion?
Chair, entertain the motion.
Yeah, I make that motion that we go with Yancey Brothers.
Second, Mr. Chair.
The amount of $142,590. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, show of hands, please. All right. Go shopping. Sir.
Ooh, we're pushing it.
Surplus playground equipment.
Mr. Chair, at our last commission meeting, you guys approved for 3 playgrounds to receive new equipment, and what this does is surplus the playground equipment there. Mr. Gross shared with us that there were a number of organizations that had inquired about purchasing equipment. And the fairest way to do this is to do it through a sealed bid process. And so what we're asking the board tonight is to declare the property as surplus and authorize me to advertise this as a sealed bid process.
Chair, you entertain the motion?
Entertain a motion.
So moved, Chair.
Second, any discussion? Everybody understand what we're doing? Okay. All in favor? Show of hands, please. All right, motion passes. I'm glad we have that now because that's come up now a few times, so.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Now we have good manager. Okay. All right, board appointments, library board.
Chairman, we make a,
Y'all on live stream now.
I've not missed a chance to vote since I was 18, and I don't want to mess it up.
Oh.
I'm on a
Oh,
roll.
you trying to get to the polls?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion that we appoint Mr. Demetrius Jefferson.
That's a motion, right?
Yes, sir.
So, second.
Motion second, we appoint Demetrius Jefferson
Yes,
to the library board. Any further discussion on that? All in favor, show of hands, please. All right, Mr. Jefferson is appointed. Let him know.
And just, can I be excused, Mr.
You
Chair?
can be excused.
And then also, I just want to say thank you for everyone who participated with ACCG yesterday, the meeting. I think it was very informative. Thank you all for Liberty County. We had a great turnout. God bless y'all. Good night.
You better get to the polls.
Good night. Drive
Anything
careful.
for the good of Mr. Mosley? But while you're coming, let me say this. I neglected earlier to give our sympathy to the family of the toddler that was lost his life in an accident recently here in Liberty County. I mean, it touched everybody's hearts. I happened to see it when they announced that the child was injured. I didn't know until later on that the child passed away. So I don't know the family, but certainly we send our condolences on behalf of the Liberty County Board of Commissioners to that family.
Mr. Chair and the board, we just want to remind everyone of our dedication, our groundbreaking ceremony next Monday at 10 o'clock at the Bakerton Church. We're going to have a great time. We want to make sure that everyone come out. We want to invite the general public to come out and be a part of the process. On June 26th, which is Thursday week, at 12 p.m., the county is the featured guest for the Progress Through the People, and that's at 12 o'clock, and we hope that everyone, all the commissioners and all our department heads will come out and support that endeavor. At the Public Works facility, we're trying to clean up the vehicles, Commissioner Stevens, and we've got 10 vehicles on Gov Deals, and we're getting quite a bit of interest from emails and phone calls. Okay. And Laura wanted me to let you know that as we move to being integrated into new payroll system, Paylocity, that your last check as commissioners will come through ADP on Monday, June the 30th. And the last thing, Mr. Chair, is one of the things we talked about during the budget process was going after delinquent bills through mobile homes. And so we met with the tax commissioner, the tax assessor's office, and building and licenses and magistrate court judge, and we're put in place a process that we're going to aggressively go after those property owners who have not paid their funds.
Aggressively.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Mr. Mosley,
Yes, sir.
do you know what these are for? Is this something new they're gonna start doing?
Just
I
notify.
think they were left from.
Just
Those were
notice-
some notifications from
notifying us.
the
LCPC.
LCPC about
Yeah.
some zoning
In
requests.
case we want to attend.
In case we want to attend?
Yes,
The-
yes, they dropped it off today.
Okay,
Yep.
well, that's a good idea.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Just to remind everyone that there will be another hurricane briefing tomorrow afternoon, 6 o'clock at the complex in Midway.
If you will send us out a reminder, Ms. Maria, I know your hands are full with stuff. Is that the last one?
No, we got one more. We got one more coming up on the 30th at the
Ms. Maria, will you
Dorchester
send,
School.
will you create calendar invites for those,
That was,
the town halls for hurricane preparedness of? All right, I'm good, all right. All for good, all the chair, enter the motion to adjourn?
So moved, Mr.
Second,
Chairman.
all in
Second.
favor?
So move and second, right here.
We stand.